As you guys know, this right here is our 2020 long-term heavy-duty Ford F-250, but there's a problem, and it's these three letters right here, XLT. And it's not really a problem. We wanted to kind of get a basic truck to test for the year, and we bought it in a rush because, well, we wanted to get the tax advantage for 2019, so we didn't get the Tremor, and basically this was the only 2020 F-250 with the 7.3 liter that we could find in the state of Colorado that we could buy before the end of last year. And there's one big problem with it, and it's a very important problem because it's the problem that goes to the heart of what you do in a truck, which is drive it. And it's the one part of the truck that you touch all the time. Let me show you. What I'm talking about is in this box. And actually, a viewer of ours, Will, sent this to us because the problem very specifically is this right there. That is a pretty basic, dare I say, inexpensive, cheap, rubbery, pick your adjective steering wheel. And this is the part of the truck that you hold on to all the time. And it just feels kind of flimsy to be driving this massive Godzilla of a truck with this kind of plasticky, rubbery, limp steering wheel. So Will was kind enough to send us a steering wheel off of his truck, which is this one. And you'll note that this one is not plastically flimsy or cheap. It is in fact leather wrapped. And I'm about to take this truck over to our mechanic to replace this wheel with that wheel. Now, Will assures me that all these bits and pieces of the steering wheel can be retrofitted onto this much nicer Ford steering wheel. And I'm hoping that's the case because, I mean, imagine being able to hold on to leather versus rubber. Being able to get a proper grip on a proper leather steering wheel. So let's find out if our mechanic Toby can do that by taking a ride over to his shop. If you guys haven't figured it out by now, and I'm sure you have, when we make videos here at TFL, everything we do is kind of from the everyman perspective. So, you know, we're not the ones usually driving Lamborghinis or Ferraris or Bugattis. We're usually the ones driving the vehicles that you drive. And this year we were making a really concerted effort to actually buy, test, and review trucks that are the real best sellers in any category. And that's why one of the reasons I'm so happy about this truck being an XLT is because, let's face it, this is the truck that most people are going to buy. Sure, you can get a much more expensive King Ranch or a Platinum or even a higher level of trim on this vehicle, but I get tired of driving these really expensive, really over-the-top trucks. So it's cool to have a vehicle that is something that everybody out there more likely than not will drive. You know, I can't stand seeing a dirty truck, especially a dirty truck. So I gotta wash this before we take it to our mechanic. I know that's kind of crazy, washing the truck before you take it to the mechanic, but I've got pride in our trucks. And this thing is, look how filthy that is. That is horrible. Now you guys might be wondering, what are we gonna do with this truck over the course of the next year? Well, one of the things, of course, we are gonna do with it is test it. We're gonna test it on-road, we're gonna test it off-road, fuel economy, the usual stuff that we do. But the real reason we want a 250 is we want to make this into an American-style overlander, right? There are a lot of European-style overlanders. There are a lot of Australian, South African overlanders, and those are basically trucks where you put a rooftop tent on some kind of scaffolding on the back of the bed. And that is not America by any means. And we want to do America. And so what we want to do is we want to put a bed camper, that's right, a modern bed camper, not one of those old ones that Grandpa had, you know, that was like made of some kind of plasticky styrofoam, just looked horrible and had like, you know, crappy like fake wood countertops, but something that's modern, that's sleek, that pops up, that can be used for crossing vast amounts of distance. And one of the things that I hope to do with this truck, and I don't know if we can actually make this happen, is to do a video series called Truck in America. Yep, Truck in America. And that would be driving this truck from the southernmost point in the U.S., which is Key West, to the northernmost point, which is, you guessed it, Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. with a camper in the back and do just an epic series showing what it's like to cross this incredible country in a very American overlanding way. So that's why we bought this truck, and that's why I want a good steering wheel to hold on to for what has got to be over 10,000 miles, something like that, when you do it all the way from Colorado down to Florida to Alaska and back to Colorado. So yeah, the idea is we don't want to lift this and turn it into like a bro truck. I mean, everybody's done that. It's not what we do. So we'll probably, if we do lift it, it'll just be a leveling kit. Probably put like a little bit bigger tire on it, maybe 2 inches bigger. Hopefully put some of the bits off of a tremor, so get the tremor fender that's actually winch capable, and work with our friends at Warren to put the Warren winch in here. Also get rid of this right there. It's way too low. Put on a nice one from the tremor. And then, yeah, the reason we've got under the hood, let me show you. And that time I didn't do the brake release. I did the hood release. The reason we got this under the hood, you'll note that we've got not one, but 2 batteries. Not one, but 2 alternators, is that we've got a lot of power so that we can actually power all the accessories and things we'll need when we go and turn this into an overlanding American style monster. All right, well, it's not perfect. It's still pretty dirty, but we are taking it to the mechanic after all. But let's talk about trucking America, driving from Key West all the way to Prudhoe Bay. Now, we're looking for sponsors for that video series, so if you guys are interested in taking part in this epic journey, we first and foremost want or need, or if you have any ideas for a bed slide-in camper that's modern and not something that your grandfather would have used. We're also looking for anybody that actually wants to help us fund this, because guys, we live on YouTube money. We spent a boatload of money on this truck and we have to pay for it, and driving that far is also going to be expensive. So if you guys want to support us by either sponsoring this series or want to somehow, you know, get to be part of it, just email us at ask@TFLtruck, and we'd love to talk to you. Now, one of the things I certainly want to do in this series is to involve you guys, the viewer. And if you recall, a couple of years ago, what we did, which I thought was really cool and I love doing, was we took a Jeep and drove it, a Wrangler, to the 50 highest points in all 50 states. And we called that Motor Mountain USA. And probably the most interesting thing we did is we created these really nice $150 gold belt buckles, very Western style, that said Motoring USA with the name of the state. And then we geocached those belt buckles with a t-shirt with the same description on it. And then in the video that we published for each state, we told you where those locations were of those buckles and t-shirts. And to this day, I think it's like 5-6 years later, we still get emails weekly asking if, for instance, the Georgia buckle has been found. And yes, they've all been found. And we'd love to do the same thing for Truckin' USA. Basically create Western style belt buckles, and then for every state that we cross, hide them somewhere so that you guys could find them. And that's not cheap, because, well, belt buckles are expensive. And Ian behind the camera. Are you expensive, Ian?
Yep.
He says he's expensive too. So that's the plan. I want to kind of fill you in on where we're going with this, but let's drop this truck off with our mechanic and see if we can't just take the very first baby step, and that is replace this wheel, which is driving me crazy, for something that's just a little bit more, let's call it, comfortable. We're here at the German Auto, where our ace mechanic Toby does a lot of our work. Now you may be wondering, why are we taking a Ford to German Auto? That's because it's not about the name, but it's about the mechanic. And I'm sure that next time you see this truck, it's going to have a much better steering wheel for the classic all-American trucking America road trip. All right, can't wait to pick this thing up and put my hands around this beefy new leather steering wheel. Yep, just came back from our mechanic, and there it is, the new steering wheel. Oh, be quiet, truck. I gotta tell you, it's funny, most people when they want to improve their vehicle will do something like an exhaust, perhaps some kind of an appearance package, but for me, the part of the truck that you touch the most, which is the steering wheel, is the most important. So, here's the old one. You can tell, just plastic, really kind of yucky. Probably lasts a long time, but this makes me feel good about driving this truck. Well, thank you guys for following along as we've bought this truck, and now we've done the exhaust, and of course the steering wheel. And really, let me know in the comments below, do you like the idea of Truckin' USA, where we drive from the southernmost part, or we drive from the southernmost part of America to the most northern part? Is that something you want to see? Or what should we do with this truck? You know, this channel is dedicated to truck guys and gals like you, and so we take your comments very seriously, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. As always, this is Roman on a very happy Friday, since now I've got something I'm happy to hold on to on a brand new truck. I'm super excited to test for the next year, saying check out TFLtruck.com for more news, views, and of course, real world reviews. See you guys next time. Ciao.